So for this project, we're going to need the kit from the FliteTest website for the roto bones, and I also have some 6x32 by 1 inch screws to put around the Tricopter to hold it all together. I got some number 6 washers, some number 6 lock washers. I tried to find the ones that had the nylon on the inside, the lock nuts, but they were like 30 cents a piece. And this whole thing was 99 cents. So, and here's just a few extra 1 inch ones I already had. So I have 2 12-inch booms and 1 10-inch boom, and then I got these 3 pieces, and these are 1.5 inches, and I'm going to glue these together like this, and this will make up for the pivoting motor on the rear. This one's 10 inches because when you add this in, it puts it back up to 12. So they'll be, all 3 of them will come out to be 12 inches. So first thing we need to do is let's just get this thing started on gluing together, because we'll need it soon. If I get the glue open. Just put a little bit of glue on this. That's probably too much. That's okay. I'll put it on here. Get these gluing together. You want to get glue on the entire piece of wood if you can, so that it holds together as best as it can. So then got this clamp. I'm just going to put this clamp on to help hold it together. If you don't have a clamp, then put some rubber bands on it or something. I'm trying to get this level, so that way it will look good. When it doesn't have to be perfect because we'll have to sand it down anyway. We don't have to, but I'm going to sand it down so that way it looks a little better and the sides line up a little straighter. Because when you cut these, unless you got some way to cut them perfectly, you just get them close. But anyway, that's how they look. Whoa, I almost dropped it. That's how they look. They're pretty good. Oops, they're pretty good here. So, all right, I'll set that aside. Okay, onto these. Here's the template that they gave. So I'm going to put the marks on these, and then I'm going to drill these holes. And I'm drilling these holes with an 1/8 inch drill bit. And this end that I'm drilling is going to go inside the roto bones, inside the frame here. And this pencil's not doing a real good job. Get these holes up a little more. There we go. But the guys at FliteTest, they do an awesome job getting this stuff done for the public, especially since they give it away for free. It's almost unbelievable. Come on. All right, so there the holes are marked. I'm going to go drill these holes. Okay, so I got the booms cut, and I got this one started. When I cut these out, I put an F on the front so I would remember which one's the front. Then I laid them on top of each other when I did the drill press, and I drilled them at the same time. That way the holes would line up. So I got one screw here started here so I didn't have to struggle with it on the camera. Let's see if I can get this one in. I drilled these myself and cut them myself, so it's going to be a little struggle with all the holes lining up with the booms and the Tricopter pieces. Alright, so I got it in there. I'm going to put on a washer, followed by a lock washer. I don't want this thing to come apart. I had that problem on my Tricopter, my other Tricopter, where the nuts would come off the bottom and then I'd lose them. But anyway, so then here's the tap to go on here. Alright, so we'll get all these other 3 put on here. And you got to make sure when you're putting this together, like I said, I have the one. This one here is 10 inches long, and it's going to go on the back. So that's why it's important to remember which is the front and which is the back, so you don't put them, put the short one on the side. I don't think it would fly very well that way. washers. And like I said, these are all 632. You can get like 832, which are a little bit bigger. But because these are probably going to be fine, because there's actually two of them holding it on here, I decided to go with the 6, just because they're going to be lighter. Overall, they'll be a little lighter than the 8s would have been. And they were 98 cents for these little packages too, so that's not too bad. And looks like the 1-inch, I got these 1-inch screws and they're doing all right. After they tighten down, they'll stick out a little bit, but nothing too excessive, which is really what I was trying to avoid. On my previous Tricopter, the arms were, all the booms were 16-inch arms, and so they were pretty long. Not that I didn't think they were too excessive, but they were 16-inch, so it made for a big Tricopter, especially trying to store it. But I did have the foldable arms, and so it was kind of nice when you could actually take it with you and fold it up. The only problem I had is that some of the wires would stretch, and I had to disconnect them to actually get the wires to not stretch out so that they'd be fine next time I flew it. Alright, so we'll tighten these up a little bit, see if they actually tighten up well. That one did real well. Try this other one. Alright, so that's about how they're coming out. That's not too bad for lengthwise. They're 1-inch, so it should be 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, and 1/2 inch. So they only got a 1/2 inch sticking out there. So, alright, so now I'll get the other ones tightened down so you don't have to watch those. Alright, so the frame is almost done, and I really like how this is cut out for stuff to go in and out of here. You can run your wires through real easy to your arms without having to go over the top. The next thing to do is, here's the front. So this is the rear of the Tricopter. So what we're going to do is drill a hole right down the middle of this, and then we're going to drill a hole through our new little platform. And we'll make sure you drill through it this way. Please don't drill through this way, to make your glue connections too weak. We'll get them drilled, and I'll tell you the size I use here in a second. And then we're going to run a sheetrock screw down here, and we're going to get it to where it's snug, but it still moves pretty free. And I'll probably end up putting a couple of these washers in between here, just to help give something some friction in there on the washers instead of on the wood rubbing. So I'll get those done, and I'll show what that looks like. So the back piece is dry. I drilled a 3/16 hole through this. This is a 3/16 hole. And in here I drilled a 3/32 hole. 3/32, 3/16. And I did that so that this thing would spin. This is a 3-inch sheetrock screw. It just slides. It should just slide through here, and that way this thing can spin around pretty freely. Then we want to put on 2 of our number 6 flat washers to create a little something they can, instead of the 2 pieces of wood rubbing together, they can rub those 2 metal pieces together. Then we'll take this and we'll screw this right into here, hopefully. Hopefully I did a good enough job this thing comes out straight. I did this piece with a drill press, but this is too long to fit under my drill press. Maybe I could have figured out something to do, but we'll see what happens. As I knock over my glue, which I do not want to do. All right, I got it pretty tight, probably too tight. Yeah, a little too tight. All right, let's loosen it up just a hair here. There it goes. And that thing is, that screw is really tight with that, with the 3/16 hole in here and a 3/32 in here in the shaft. It's real tight. All right, so there it is. That'll be our rear swivel point. And so on with the rest of it. Oh, we'll also need one more, probably an 1/8 inch hole, or actually probably smaller, to go down through here, so that the servo will have something to grab onto. And if you want to see another video on this, you can watch HallStudio's simple build, quadcopter or tricopter simple build video, and he shows this thing being built as well. So when you drill this, the hole in here where the servo wire will come down and go through here, we actually have a couple chances. We'll drill it on this side, and we'll drill another one on this side. Let me look real quick. All right, so we want to put it about right here, I believe. I'm going to try it right there. And this thing, it doesn't have to be straight. It just needs to come out close to the right place on the other side. So, yes, it does need to be a little bit straight. And this drill bit's not straight. Great. All right, we'll try it anyway. Yeah, it came out right there. That's not bad. We'll try again on this side. And the nice thing is you get 2 chances, and then if you mess up too much, you can make a new one of these. It only takes 4.5 inches of 1/2 inch board, so it's not too bad if you mess up. We'll go ahead and try to put this a little bit more, I'm going to try to aim for the middle right here. So let's say that'll be about right there. We'll go for this. That didn't come out so well. I probably should have drilled these before I put it together. That may have helped. Okay, well anyway, I got 2 spots I can try to pull from, and it's clearing the shaft, so it'll probably be okay. Both of them will be fine. Hopefully one of them will work better than the other one, and that's the one we'll use. But anyway, so there, that rear servo mechanism is ready to go. Now, with all this finished and most of the frame built, next thing you want to do is, if you're going to paint it, you want to do that at this stage now while you don't have any electronics on here, because you won't want to spray paint your electronics or brush paint and whatever. Anyway, it's not too hard now to know which is the front and which is the back because of your servo mechanism back here. So yeah, this is a good time to go ahead and take this into your garage or outside and give it a paint job. Okay, so the body's painted. I painted the 2 front arms purple and the back one orange. The main thing when you're painting these, you can either paint it to be cool, or you can paint it so that you can actually see which direction it's facing when it's up in the air, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I painted this platform orange along with the rest of the arm. That way, when it's up in the air above my head, I look in the sky, I can see that it's orange, and hopefully be able to see it from up there. The other thing you want to make sure you do is paint your battery holder. I painted one side orange and one side purple. That way I could decide later if I wanted it to match on the bottom here, or if I wanted it to just have it, contradict it like this. And I cut these 3 holes and these 3 holes out, so that way I could get the battery to line up with the tricopter, the front to the back. So the next thing to do before you're completely done with this frame is you want to cut out some templates for landing gear. Now the landing gear on their site has it goes right here. These last 2 inches are landing gear and motor holders. Well, since we don't have landing gear, this is just going to be, I added 2 inches on here to hold the motor, and then I cut these out. I just made a template. This is about 3 inches tall from the bottom to the top. And these are going to mount, not out here on the end, but about 2 inches in, out here like this. That way there's room for the motor to mount out there, because in the end I'm going to zip tie the motor on with zip ties, so that if it does crash, hopefully the motors will break loose so that they don't get damaged. And anyway, so we don't want these to hold them on. So I also drilled 2 holes in here that the screws will go through, and I'll drill the 2 holes through all the legs. Put another one of these on the other side so they match, and then bolt those together, and that will be the landing gear. In my case, I'm making 4 purples. Actually, I'm making 5 purples. I want 2 over here, 2 over here, and then I want an extra one just in case I break one. I'm making 3 oranges, 2 back here, and then 1 more in case I break one. And also, when I make the first one, I write template on it. That way, I can trace this out, cut the other ones out, and I know they're all going to be, well, at least close. And I cut all these out with a jigsaw, and I drilled all these with a drill press. All right, so I got the landing gear all cut out and painted. The 5 purples and the 3 oranges, and then on the arms of the Tricopter, I came back with the template, and I measured in, you can't barely see it, but measured in 2 inches, and then I took this, lined it up at 2 inches, marked the holes, and then drilled the holes through. Now, remember on the back when you have a 3-inch screw coming in, so you have to get in past the 3-inch mark, because you don't want to hit the screw like I did, because I forgot it was there and I did it. So you want to move in your, mark in your 2-inch, or just what I did here actually is I measured the 2 inches, put this right off of there, drilled the hole, then I drilled the hole from there back the rest of the way for the landing gear in the back. Alright, so I'm just going to start these screws, and I'm going to try to line them up on here if I can. Just going to get a little bit more through there. I get enough showing through that they'll push into the holes and I'll know it's lined up. Yep, there it goes. Okay. I'll use this drill to do it instead of cranking it by hand. Alright. Got that one through most of the way. My holes didn't quite line up straight on this one. I'll get a drill and straighten it out with the drill. Now I'll just go drill this out and it will be ready to go. There we go, it's all on, and landing gear's on all 3. I got them tightened up. I didn't put anything inside here. Maybe I could. If you want to, you can. Maybe I will later, we'll see. That's why I got the extra ones in case they do break, then I have them. So anyway, that concludes this part of the video. If you purchased the kit, then this video is kind of worthless, which is why I'm kind of separating it into 2 parts. So anyway, thanks for watching, and if you want to watch the electronics get set in here, go ahead and watch part number 2. Thanks.